Sabusiafo nyina beka ya wonse budget ho nsem na abagana budget ho nsem mebira abagana na finance minister de kopie mu o parliament no entiase anya adwuma because say na dom kuma no kire say enoma bi wo budget ni mu a omo ebu anduso enunti wo se omo etimi ka ho asem na ekoye menteme ho ase ema NPP 4 epie free parliament ho ekoi later the tia ne say omaje e dia tum because say na we say yes and no because na edom kuma wo ho edom dodo no so na omu so omu ni parliament ho enti yes or no no entimi ankoso mo omu gitu alechi ya na tia say abenbaben ne ho mfa no to okohwe no ho yade wo Dubai one na ebusuafo nyina omokoro enti the next day omu ye program bi wo na 2 but nkofo me bra dwena nko program na omu ye wo na 2 no so na 2 program na omu ye no wo hwe bi a papa be kasa wo so e fe ne dwonkuma ensem wo be kan ye nka mutie ni anka muhu re be si nra no nkofo entie sa program no nkofo adwene ankoso obe kasa wo afidie no so e confirm kansi so say ombeko parliament nra no ama ombeji atum ama budget no aye adwuma san wo kan ye wo ne kasa ye mu ye ni nkan kwoti asem wo kan ye wo na 2 embra o make sa statement na kwaku anan ne interview ne mra hye.
John, the yehu sisi I say we are at a crossroad. Now crossroad we have now to Ochina say the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic will do what is constitutionally mandated. But again, the push and pull may throw this entire budget way off gear or otherwise. Nim said the enyoma esiko. Give us some of the concerns that minority for ni be raised here.
Yo, Madasi. Say, yeah, Ghana phone and say 2022 budget year a better parliament. You bet me Afia na approve. Na she say pie woman. Susu say ebe boama o mind tire akonkan yet me dia yedwuma. Na no kre woman say esi Friday no there. And family Acquah university is void and unconstitutional. Inti adiechi ananya meya domna Tuesday or Tinano, they could do parliamentary. I believe say we will have the appropriate forum and I say the right quorum, more than half of members of parliament present. Now decisions are also taken also no. Yatimi Agyin Asare taking politics and the collective interest of the country. And what Emma Dear, I was both sides. I agree fine, I was here now yet discuss the issue no as a mind a conform trust. And now say attempt to please our base no. So our attitude ni free one and penny for no beginning to judge with each other. So we will both make progress and see. Of course, at different levels, but there has been problems. So they make it.
I see, John. Should Ghanaians have the hopes there? Ochina say time say na yetumi pass the 2022 budget.
I know I can assure you by the grace of God, Ochina by close of day, Parliament will definitely approve the 2022 budget for the country.
Great.
It is them say na obeka ye wo na 2 ho na oka sa asem ni wie no adechi no omukotena parliament omo discuss according to news no kire say dom kuma no so amba mepiem wo ho sa day no so mu pie wo ho dia and stand to be corrected but dom kuma no so amba mepiem me the video no beto so menim se no omo wo ho na omo so bibisi no mu pie ko ye dia ene menim ho asem na de ekosi ya ne se omaje budget no de atum na omoji tu mu wie no hono aboharo na nrusu ba bonti be make comment bi fa budget na omoji tu mu no ho no obese onso meju wadwe nkere wo ha budget na ebi se ebi se nye me amiti hayi me di abrochire tutu Ghana ho dia wo so obi atua tax because ye di abrochire tutu Ghana ho se glass nko a na sisi nko a enkofo mebre na so kire se ye wo resources ye wo gold ye wo diamond ye wo cocoa ye wo manganese ye wo oil saa no mani nyina ye obu okuro no so enti ni kwa sen komutu attack saa no man betimi affect saa de no da ko mepese obi a wo nimde e wo saa no mai amaboso yi no eba be chire Ghana for mu mame na yebusa na questions say saa nneoma ya ye wo ya yebobodin say ye wo gold ye odan mo ye wo ahwan ye wo ahwan no saa nneoma na wo kuro so a adentro mu ntimi nyusu na gese omutua tax ebia na eho akade no muni ana se eho animdie ena omuni ana se sen da komepe obinam de nato so na mabusa na questions afa saa nneoma no ho ba bia me wei de omuni saa nneoma na mabobọ so no aha de yetua tax yetua bills na ade tax telephone calls bibia utua o send sika ni nyina utua and ye hade na me de maker but Ghana no because ye was our resources nti no enkofo ta agina no so kase saa nneoma na ye wo nti no eni kwa se obi atua tax e wo Ghana ho okay yenko parliament nko hwe de ko so a o mo je eye ade ni di tu mu no ene kwan so ana se ye ne kwan so obetimi de wadwe nkyere so aba.
Let's move to the other paper addendum. Motion. Honourable members, the motion that was moved by the Honourable Minister and have been debated is now ready for a decision to be taken. We have already determined that the appropriate numbers are in the chamber, and therefore the House stands ready to take a decision. Now I'll put the question. I'll put the question. All in favor of the House adopting the resolution moved by the Honourable Minister for Finance, say aye. Aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion moved. The House has adopted the financial. The House has accordingly approved the budget statement for the ensuing year ending 31st December 2022. Yes, Honourable members, order. Yes, Honourable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, it's just for the avoidance of doubt. I'm not sure I heard you correctly or didn't hear you correctly. I'm not too sure of what I heard. Mr. Speaker, what is before us? Is a motion that this Honourable House approves the budget statement and economic policy of government for the year ending 31st December 2022. If my ears were not deceiving me, I think I heard resolution. It's a motion. If my ears were not deceiving me, I heard you say we approve of the resolution. It's a motion.
Just for the record, let me repeat what I said. This House has approved the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2022, subject to the concessions given by the Finance Minister a couple of minutes ago. That was consequent upon the motion moved by the Finance Minister earlier in the month. Honourable members, order.
Say ne kwesi e wo parliament a omo agitu mu wieye na omo agitu mu wieye na Haruna Nrusu Honorable Babonten a ono so be kire na adwene efa ho say and ade no magye atum no ono so ebo enyu so because of enioma 1 2 3 bia e ko so e wo parliament ni nti ono so hu ni say e wo say ono so ekasa na omosan so asetena bi mu sending for that one day I have no idea. Yonko tie Aaron and Rusu nsem on so alitu dwamra sese.
And it does not serve as a good tax instrument because it's regressive. We also asked them to adjust even the threshold of this 100 Ghana, maybe upward. They also said they were not ready to do that. So if you didn't see the minority cooperating, these were the very reasons we are unable to support them. So we're determined to support them to redeem the economy, because we want to inherit a healthy economy under President Mahama in the very foreseeable future of 2025. But the difficulty was that they said on those matters. Now let me come to the business of Parliament. When you lay a budget statement minus concessions and you approve it without knowing the concessions, what have you approved? What have you approved? So let's get serious. Those of you who are familiar with the work of Parliament, we have seen motions amended on the floor of Parliament. It was just for the Minister for Finance to amend those aspects of the budget statement, or for better choice of a word, revise it. For instance, on acre energy, we clearly drew their attention that your rendition does not reflect the resolution which were passed by Parliament. An unpleasant truth which he must accept today and accept tomorrow. He can't alter that. So if you don't change it in the budget statement, where else are you going to change it? Which committee are you going to change it? We said Agyapong. We will not support Agyapong today. We will not support it tomorrow, because this Minister of Finance have collateralized every opportunity and revenue in order that he can endanger the future for an incoming political administration led by John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. Ghana Exim securitized, Get Fund collateralized, ESLA extended by 9 years when the sunset was supposed to be for 5 years. Therefore, we simply said, don't collateralize our mineral resources, because even without collateralization, you earn $130 million every other year. So live with that. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we will address a full-scale press conference on all these issues, but we needed to let the Ghanaian people know where we stand. We don't support the e-levy in its form and character as announced in paragraph 315 and 316 of the budget statement. Our indication to them to revise it to take care of the ordinary people, particularly people who depend on $100 remittances from abroad, even when the ranking member of finance schooled them, that not all the remittances go to household. Some of it is for purposes of business, capital. As the Honorable Adongo observed, you don't tax capital. So concessions, I want anybody to show to me where they have approved a budget subject to unknown concessions. The concessions are known only to Minister of Finance and to the Honorable Oseichi Mensah Bosu. Is that how the Parliament of Ghana should work? No. Is that how Parliament should approve a budget policy and economic policy statement of government? We are a very constructive and reasonable opposition. Therefore, we made adjustment. We also further indicated to them that you cannot automatically adjust fees and charges. We said if you want, you can take it to the Public Financial Management Act so that it will be taken care of, but not at the behest of Minister Ken Oforiatta that every other year, automatic 15%. He doesn't have that mandate today, and he won't have that mandate tomorrow. But let me warn that from tomorrow, every other decision of Parliament will be by voting. Let me warn that tomorrow, every other decision of Parliament, we will insist on minimum numbers of head count. At appropriation and estimates, we will vote on them. And therefore, if this is the way they want us to work, we are very capable of working with them. Therefore, if they claim that they respect the Constitution, they must respect the fact that today's decision is a constitutional nullity because the Deputy Speaker has no original nor casting vote. Nothing more. And therefore, they were at best 137. I have already warned that cooperation, we should be mindful of the consequence of the lack of cooperation on the Ghanaian people, particularly those who want their salaries paid at the end of January. It was for those reasons we made those difficult overtures to them. Now, for those of you who think that they are right on many of the issues, we will share with you some other details relating to the budget. I don't want to go to the politics of walkout, but to remind you, those of you who are familiar with the history of Ghana, I want to take you to Memory Lane, 3rd August 1956, and you know them by who they are. When the motion of destiny was moved in Parliament in December 1956 for independence in 1957, the minority led by Buzia walked out, just as you saw. The vote was taken, and the colonial government accepted the vote as 72-0, and it carried. It carried. So, practice, precedent, convention, let them be guided. The opposition protested to the British Parliament, but their protest was thrown out and dismissed. Per Eskime, a deputy speaker is not a speaker, and that is the reason why in the House of Commons, the deputy speaker is not addressed as a speaker. When he is presiding, he is referred to by his title. This position was affirmed by Speaker Ala Jete. So if they are happy quoting Speaker Do Ajaho, they should read. The Honorable Ahmed, let me conclude by the ruling of Professor Michael Quay, if you have it. But I'll be happy to take questions from the media whilst we look at those issues. We'll address the issues comprehensively, but the questions the Ghanaian people must be asking. This budget was approved with concessions. Concessions are known to the Parliament of Ghana, and concessions are known to us. And that we decided to stand strong because we do not support the introduction of an e-levy. We have repeatedly cautioned that it will take us back into what we have been trying to do to a cash functional economy and affect the development of a digital economy, and they are just being opportunistic and exploitative with those particular issues. I'll be happy to answer questions from you. So let them be reminded that today what they have done is itself Professor Michael Quay, see February 2020. The minority side claimed that they were not invited to participate in a meeting of the Finance Committee to consider the referral of the contract of the EPC. So let me just share another ruling with you. So constitutional and parliamentary jurisprudence will only be richer. This is what Professor Michael Quay observed. We all know in this house that on both sides, there have been all manner of boycotts at some time or the other, which is fine. If a boycott arises, those who are seized with the work may do so and have to do so. So we did so, and we had to do so last Friday in the words of Professor Michael. Otherwise, government business will cease. This time it was the government people boycotting and running away from government business. And he further said that no group, no matter where it belongs, can arrest the business of the nation because they choose not to take part in a particular business. So they could not have arrested what we're doing on Friday by the words of their own speaker, Professor Mike Okwe. If you want the reference, see February 2020. Thank you very much.
Eti abushia for the akusino no. Se say no how na ndusu so e kire say ade e course wo no onu no hu ni say papa no no be kan NPP ho a enu nti omokodo so no enye ne kwan so ana nsem bi wo eye krataa ni mu a efa eye budget ne ho a omobu enje so na no die atodwa nso betimi de wo nso onu die aba na won tro ye agu eye video na say very important ne ehunu adwene a e wo Ghana fo ye nyina yetirim na de mebusa e wo ha ene say sese ya na omo agi sa de we atomu no na NDC for ele wo parliament na MPP for de abufuo apie ko because omo say Asiedu Nketia nso enkonto no so omo so apie omo so ekoro yesi na omo eka so omo njintum a MPP ko ye no NPP nso ba ya omo so ehu ni say NDC nso ni ho omo so agi atomu no embese mi hunu we ne betime de nsunsan so bi aba na anase we nso hunu say ombesan ba betena se bi ma sa to so aba na ayi na omo to so aba na kra na budget na omo to so aba na kra no emfumso na ewo ho no mpacho me pawon so wadwen kire o video na say emfumso ewo ho no obetime de agu ase amame ya resources ayewo gold diamond ho mebrebe na ayewo no enkofo busa ede ntina saa no mani nyina ayewo na nso still na yeda so wo ahokyirem na yeda so eye pekwan befa so etimanya sika enkwahye enkofo so ebusa enso eno no obetimi de wadwen kire agu ase wo ho nimde a obetimi ama private message me grant you interview on my platform na wetimi akirikire mu ede akire Ghana fo adekonti asa no mani nyina wo Ghana na nso still na agye eye tax no na Ghana fo nso ehunu no ma ekoso bididi ekonaba boate obetimi ahye na obi so anya bi ahwe